Good evening, good evening, good evening. We are back in the man cave. New time, new day, but same content. We are here. We the number one source for Polk County basketball, and we are now live and ready for the actual season for the boys to begin. The girls have already started. So tonight we're doing what we call our preseason preview show. So new format, new content, and we're very excited about it. And before we get started, I want to go ahead and welcome in and welcome back co-host, All-State coach, Coach Billy D. What's going on with you, boss?
What's going on, Coach? Man, I missed y'all last week.
Hey man, it seems like you get used to doing this and then you don't have it. It's like it's something that you just like, man, I'm supposed to be doing something and you're not doing something. So I definitely was different. So we glad to be back at it. But our other co-host, PG Toomer, he'll be on in a little bit, but we're gonna go ahead and get things going. And before we get started with all the preseason stuff, we want to make sure that we kind of keep some consistency, which starting with the coach's corner today. We're gonna start with the coach's corner. So, Coach, what's on your mind? What's going on? What's been going on with you? That's hot on your dome. So we glad to be back at it.
I talked to a lot of coaches, on and off the air, and what's on my mind right now is culture, coach. So I want to ask you, what is culture, and how important is it to recognize a toxic culture in order to improve?
Oh wow! Well, culture, first of all, I think is almost like a lifestyle. It's almost like an expectation that no matter what the year is, no matter what the team is, no matter what the kid is, it's the same type of expectation, the same type of way of doing things. We're gonna all something as simple as we're gonna all travel to the game together. If you don't ride on the bus, you don't play. I know in football there were one or two teams that I know in years past that kids didn't have to ride the bus, or they didn't ride the bus. They showed up at the game, and it was a playoff game where this happened, and the coaches played them. So that type of culture becomes toxic because what type of expectation are you showing to the other kids? More importantly, the young kids. If I can just show up, I don't have to come to practice. I can dog it in practice. I can, I can give you my butt to kids essentially. Coach, it was a thing today. I told you I went out to see my godson. My wife and I went to go see my godson's football game today, and the team lost, and they spent a lot of time criticizing the officials. A lot of times criticizing the officials. My godson's team was much more talented than the team that they played, but the other team was much more disciplined. It was a culture, even at 8 years old, coach. And that coach been coaching for a while. He do a real good job, and they beat him. And coach, it was one of the kids used some very strong language toward one of the officials as to why they lost. And he's 9 years old, coach. And it was
nobody corrected him. Nobody said anything.
Coach, they did not correct. They was like, even the comment that the person made to my godson's mom was essentially, you see, even the kids see what was going on with the officiating. So I look at my wife like, so we ain't gonna check the kid on the language and even that thought process that is so now we putting it to the kids at 9 that if you lose is automatically officiating. So and then so my godson mom said, what you said? Well, you know how such and such is, trying not to say names, you know how such and such is. So I told my wife, say, so that ain't the first time that's happened. If your response is you know how the kid is, that means that'll happen before. And this kid 9 years old, coach. So toxic culture, I think, kind of starts from when you get away from, if you don't set a standard, you don't set expectation, you don't set a expectation of how things are going to be, or you fluctuate on what you have set in place, then you can easily get your culture to become toxic. And then you can get a team that really, like this morning, it's football, but it was a 2 touchdown team. There was 2 touchdowns better than that team, and they lost. So they done. You know how they say in football, shoulder pass to the left, helmet to the right. They turned stuff in, coach, and it was sad to see, coach. And I'm like, they 9 years old. So what can you look forward to from that situation, that scenario, if you're doing that at 9 years old, coach?
See, and that's the thing they'll bring to the high school and think they can do the same thing. And coaches are not gonna. Well, some coaches, most great coaches, are not gonna tolerate that. But my thing is, coach, like, do coaches recognize that their culture has changed into a toxic one, or is it hard? Is it hard for them to recognize that? Or do somebody from the outside gotta bring it to their attention? Like, hey, you might want to.
I think it got to come from the outside, coach, because it's kind of like the other day I was once again talking to my wife. I can write something up, coach, and I can think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But when I read it, I'm going to be reading it with my eyes. So I know what I wanted to say when I wrote it. I can give it to you, and you can be like, hold on now, what you was trying to say here, or what was your point, or what, you understand? Because you're reading it just as objective as possible. I'm reading it no matter how non-biased I want to be. It's going to be hard for me not to do it because I'm the author of it. So sometimes you have to get people outside of what you're doing to come in. I had a coach that came and kind of asked me a question over the weekend about a situation they had. What would I do? They said, Coach, I know you don't coach no more. I know you kind of but just want to get your take on it. And I gave them a take because they were like, well, I didn't think about it this way or this way. And it's kind of like a thing what you talking about. They're trying to set a standard for their program. They're trying to make sure they're consistent, and they're trying to make sure that they are addressing stuff so that things don't start to go a certain way. But they didn't see it. A couple of points I made, they were like, you know what, Coach, I didn't think about it like that. Well, you know what, I didn't think about it like that, because when you in it, it's hard for you to see a different point of view. So I do think that sometimes it's good to have an outside eye, but Coach, you got to have a tough skin, and you got to have a high self-esteem, I guess, in order to do that. Because if I ask you to come in, like, you go to a practice, and I think I'm running full court. We full court jump. We full court man to man. We trapping to have my rotation. I think it's great. You come in and you be like, well, Coach, why are you doing this? Or if you rotate this guy to the sideline, that next pass, you see something different. Well, I've been running it and thinking it's great. I got to be secure enough to accept your take on it, especially if it's not going to be my take. Not be like, oh, well, he think he know everything because he won state. He think he know everything because they over there, they beat people by 30. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and everybody ain't ready for that. And so sometimes toxic coaches remain toxic because you're not willing to accept a different viewpoint, because you just got your mind kind of made up that this is right. This is just how it's supposed to be. And in that case, in that point, is not going to get any better. It's going to continue to be how it is. And in some cases, it's going to get worse. And then you get a situation like today where you don't even see nothing wrong with what the kid doing. Then we really lost. I mean, how in the world can you not see anything wrong with a kid blaming a ref to the point where you using that type of language? Even if the kid wasn't 9 years old, even if the kid was 18 years old, even if the kid was a freshman or a senior in high school, I mean, looking to the officiating is the first step to being on the wrong side of stuff. Even if you feel that way, that ain't your job. It's your job to play. It's your coach's job to take care of the officials. So to answer your question, yeah, I think it's a good idea. But like you say, you talk to coaches all the time. You reach out to coaches all the time. Y'all go back and forth about strategies and scenarios and things, and you willing to accept it just like you're willing to give it. You a lot different than a lot of people. Everybody ain't willing to accept it. Everybody willing to ask the question, hey, Coach, what you think about this? What do you think about this? This was this type of this scenario, this game, because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear that Coach, I don't think that should have been, you should have ran that. I think if you did this, you could have got something else out of it. Everybody don't want to hear that, Coach. So you got some coaches that do, and those coaches are the ones that usually teams consistently kind of perform a little better than the ones that don't. Not all the time, but more than not, that's kind of how it sometimes ends up panning out, unfortunately.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, Coach.
So, well, tune not on. So we're gonna kind of move on, and we got a lot of we did our rankings over the summer. We took some heat. We got some kudos, whatever the case may be. But since the season starts up this week, we updating the rankings, and we figured we were doing right on on live. We're doing right on the air, and then we'll take the heat. We'll post them on the page, and we'll go from there moving forward. So we're going to start with the class of 2024. That means that the guys who are currently ninth graders or freshmen at their schools. So we're going to go from 10 to 1. We're going to go from 10 back to 1, and we'll run them out there. Then we'll have a little discussion, move on to the next group, So checking in at number 10, out of Lake Wales, 5'6" guard. And if I say any of these names wrong, I apologize. Shot it to my head, not to my heart. So we'll give him a best shot at him as we go through them. But it's Sebastian Rosales, number 10. Number 9, out of Kathleen, 6'1" wing, Jerome Groves. Number 8, out of Santa Fe, 6-foot guard, Daniel Thompson. Number 7, out of McKeel, 5'10" guard, Alex Sessoms. Number 6, out of Jenkins, 5'10" guard, Lorenzo, I think it's LJ, but Lorenzo Cason. 5, out of Winter Haven, 5'9" guard, Daraje Hardy. Number 5, out of Winter Haven, 6'2" forward, Jamie Phillips Jr. Number 4, out of Winter Haven, Daraje Hardy. Number 3, out of Lakeland, 6'2" guard, Anthony Wilcox Jr. Number 2, out of Bartow, 6'5" freshman center, Edward Wiggins. And number 1, out of Winter Haven, 6'4" forward, Isaac Salazar. So I know over the summer when we did 2024 rankings, we didn't have Salazar or Phillips on the list, and we took a lot of heat on that. And so at Polk, we don't act like we are the holy grail, but we make a mistake or we make an oversight. We don't have no problem with admitting it and correcting it. So obviously Salazar should have been on the list, so should Phillips, and they both on. So Coach, what's your take on the? Do you have any thoughts to take on the list?
This list here, Coach, is the hardest one to put together because these kids never played high school before. So, we basing it, on what they did in middle school ball or maybe even travel ball. So it's a lot going into this list that are unknown. A great thing about this list, most of them I have seen. I have not seen all of them, but I definitely have seen the top 5 play. Top 5 are very close. Very, very close. And I think the one with the most ceiling is the kid from Bartow. Yeah. He hit a growth spurt this summer. I think he's going to hit another one. And if he mess around and get 6'8" or higher, Coach, I think he'll jump in the national rankings at some point. Yeah. But the Salazar kid is tough. Hardy is really, really tough. I've seen him since he was pretty much in 6th grade. Jamie Phillips, he has stretched out. And he's finding his way. He's getting major minutes at Winter Haven right now. I think he had like 16 points in one of the preseason games.
Yeah, he played.
So, like I said, this list is still early. We're still going to try to figure them out. I'm going to tell you one I was impressed with, and that's with the Thompson kid at Santa Fe. I think he was tough in the preseason game that I've seen him in, and I'm just curious to what his ceiling going to be.
Okay. Coach Helms from Hardy say that he got a good one down there that we haven't heard of him, so we're not slighting him, but he caught Phoenix Romeo. So definitely, we'll be out to see Hardy, so we'll be looking for Mr. Romeo and Coach Marlowe. we feel pretty good about Isaac, and we apologize because like I say, we didn't get him in the summer, but we didn't know nothing about him. We kind of was limited, like Coach said, because it wasn't a lot of basketball, wasn't summer league, wasn't fall ball. Limited kids played travel ball, so we just didn't know about kids. But we saw Salazar at the Lakeland at tip off, and yeah, it was.
Hey, but Coach, you know what though? Winter Haven had a great freshman class last year. Look like they have another one this year. So I think once they get another year up under their belt, they're gonna have to be one of the teams to beat in the county,
Which is
especially
probably,
especially if they get the James kid back.
Coach, which was probably why when Coach Woodside was on here, he was doing a lot of smiling. He was doing a lot of smiling. And Coach Sessom, yes, sir. We was there. Well, we was there for the second half of the Lake Mineola game, so we saw Alex doing work. He had a real good game, and he has a very 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 high ceiling. And that freshman class, skill wise, Coach, they from 1 to 10 last year, freshman class probably from like 1 to 3 or 4 was pretty skilled. And then you had some athletes in there, but this 2024 class, Coach, they got some skill. Them guys are like skilled. So it's shout out to they AAU coaches, travel ball coaches in middle school, whatever ball they played before they got to high school. But that's the thing that kind of jumped out at me. The couple that I seen so far that they are skilled, like the Sessom kids, real skilled. Like Wilcox, real skilled. Hardy, though, Coach, they had 3 freshmen out there and beat Lakeland Christian with everybody, and they had 3 freshmen. They had 1 sophomore, 1 senior. I think they only dressed like 7 kids because they was just coming back from football. So they won both of those games, and Discovery and Lakeland Christian had their whole teams for the most part. So. That I definitely agree with you there. But yeah, Wiggins definitely has the highest ceiling because, like you said, I don't think he's done growing. He could easily end up being 6'8" like James from Winter Haven by this time next year. So that's 2024, and shout out those 10 guys. No slighter, we didn't mention you, but that's what we starting the year with our preseason 2024 top 10. So. Move right into 2023 top 10. We'll go from 10 to 1 once again. 10, and once again, if I say the names wrong, I apologize. There's no slight on the kids. It's just, doing the best we can. So parents, coaches, no disrespect if the names come out wrong. Number 10, Jaden XL, 5'8" guard from Lake Wales. Number 9, RJ Kelly, 6'1" forward, Kathleen. Number 8, Zeke Munoz, 6'1" guard, Winter Haven. 7, Matt Vaughn, 6'2" guard, Santa Fe. 6, Curvin Nags, 5'10" guard, Arbondale. 5, Harvey Wilson, 6'6" center, Santa Fe. 4, Nehemiah Turner, 6'8" forward, Arbondale. 3, Tyler Williams, 6'5" guard, Winter Haven. 2, Ro Hardy, 5'11" guard, Winter Haven, and 1, KJ Parker, 6'1" guard, Bartow. Those top 3 kind of been the same. I mean, it's pretty, been the same pretty much throughout. It was a little movement from 4 to 10. So, Coach, what's your initial take on the 2023 group?
This group, I think at the top is very talented. When you get to the bottom 10, those kids work hard, and they still got a lot to prove. This is where they separate themselves. So I'm really curious about, that 5 to 10, because I think that's going to fluently change throughout the year according to what type of year that they have. But the top 5 definitely have a really high ceiling. KJ is definitely at the top of that class, but I see Ro and Tyler, nipping at his heels. So that should motivate him and should push him, to stay at the top of his game. And Nehemiah has came a long way. We got to see him during the preseason, and I was also saw that game against George Jenkins in the first game where he actually led them in scoring. it's going to be interesting with him and to see how the season goes for him. I think he's got to be an integral part of what Arbondale is doing, and I'm curious on how Coach E is going to be able to use him, along with the other pieces that he have. Nehemiah has a high ceiling, but I think Nehemiah has to really take getting in shape important. I think that's what's gonna, either excel him into the elite, being an elite player, or just keep him where he's at right now. KJ, man, you can't say enough great things about KJ. KJ is a hard worker. The kid can just flat out score, coach. He can flat out score from, all three levels. And I'm in love with the duo with Ty and Roe. I really love Roe as a point guard. And Tyler, he's a point guard also, but he's a super athlete. But like I said earlier, Woodside gonna have something to deal with, next year and the following year after that. So I think it's where it needs to be right now, but I think it's gonna be some movement throughout the year in this group.
I definitely like the ceiling for Turner, like you said. I mean, he's 6'8" with size, and so you look at Eric with Arbondale with 2 6'8" guys. I mean, they the biggest team in the county, top to bottom by far. So Turner definitely has a chance to make some noise, and how Nax goes, how he develops will be interesting also. I was impressed, quietly impressed. I don't know how to change with Munoz once Rowe and Tyler and I think the Ventrell kid all come back. Winter Haven's gonna look a whole lot different this year because they don't have Salazar, the forward, his older Salazar and Malachi Howard and James and all those guys all left. They all gone, so they're not as big as they was, but they definitely will be more skilled. So you figure you put Rowe and Tyler out there with Jamie Phillips, with Salazar, with the other hard kid, with it's gonna be, you got to pick your poison who you're gonna kind of guard or whatever. And
I will tell you, Coach Zeke is putting in work off the court. You know what I'm saying? He's been, outside of practice, putting in a lot of work, and if he continue to put in that work, it's going to definitely show on the court. I said, Winter Haven's going to be deep,
Coach, and he not bad. He got a nice shot, and he I think for that team, I think he's going to fit in pretty well with him. I think it's going to be interesting to see where he fits in, but I do think he'll play. I think the other kid that I think all those kids that played last week at Lakeland will play, and then you add those 3 kids. I think they got a pretty decent rotation. And Coach Thomas, we don't disagree by RJ. We know RJ gonna work hard, and we know he's gonna. That's what he do. He work hard. So Coach Johnson, he felt like Wilson probably be the best on the list. He seemed like he's not done growing, Coach. Just looking at him, the big kid from Santa Fe. Like he kind of like in the same boat. He seemed like he got a couple more inches that he ended up getting 6'8", but he's 6'6" right now, and so I mean he got a high ceiling as well. So so that's 2023. Moving on to 2022. Number 10, go 10-1 once again. Apologize for the names that we don't get them right. So Israel Ricketts, 6-foot guard from Victory. Number 9, Devontre Bradley, 6'3" guard from Frostproof. 8, Andre Shaw Jr., 6'4" from Kathleen. 7, Drew Strickland, 6-foot guard, Lakeland. 6, Caden Bryan, 5'10" guard, Hardy. 5, Cooper Ellis, 6'2" guard from McKeel. 4, Trayvon Coleman, 5'10" guard from Ridge. 3, Jordy Lowry, 5'10" guard from Bartow. 2, Donald Gatlin, 5'9" guard from Lake Wells. And 1, Trey Lane, 6-foot guard, Santa Fe. So from this list, it was a little movement at the top. Trey and Donald switched positions. Trayvon and Cooper moved up. But overall, what's your thoughts on this one, Coach?
Coach, I think this is the toughest group to evaluate out of all 4 classes that we're looking at. I'm not very convinced. I need to see more of this group to clearly define where they should be. The top 3, I think, are deserving so, but out of the 4 groups that we're talking about, I think this is the least talented group, in my opinion. Great thing is that they have the year to prove themselves. I'm looking forward to watching this group and see how they develop. But looking at this group, I think Polk County may have a down year next year as far as being senior dominated, other than those top kids. Winter Haven is going to be young, so I expect them to be one of the top teams, but I don't see a lot of senior-led dominated teams next year judging by this list. So I think everybody is where they're supposed to be right now, and they have a chance to prove themselves throughout the year.
Coach, now, and we can admit this if we made a mistake, but I thought I see somebody saying, "What about Willie Starworth, a Starworth from Discovery?" I thought Starworth was a senior. Now, if Starworth is a junior, then he deserves to be on this list. And if he is, we'll make an adjustment to Todd Armstrong. We'll make an adjustment if he is. We'll look it up. But I thought he was a senior, so he wasn't listed with us.
I think so too.
He a junior. If he is
I think he's a senior.
I thought he was a senior. But if he is a junior, Coach Jameson, then yeah, he'll be on the list. Then clearly, yeah, so we'll bump somebody will get bumped out. Just being honest, somebody will get bumped out because if he's a junior, he's
he definitely deserves to be up there. That's our mistake. We don't mind admitting to that, but if he's a junior, he definitely deserves to be on this list.
Yeah, if he's junior,
and top 3 on this list at least.
Yeah, he at least top 3 if he we're on that one. We're on that one, you all, and we'll make an adjustment. I'm writing it down now. We'll update that. So when we post it, we'll post it. So Coach Weed got him for 2 years. That's a good thing.
That is.
I thought he was a senior. Yeah. So does that change the list, Coach, knowing that Starworth is a junior?
I'll put him at 3, Coach.
No, does that change your take on this list?
No. I think this class is, like I said, don't stack up to the other classes. They do have some great individuals that can actually get out and flat out play. The other ones, I think, need to separate themselves. And they got time. They really got time. They got to really take advantage of this year to separate themselves from each other and the other people that are on this list.
Okay. No problem, Mr. Armstrong. Like I said, we're not acting like we got it all. We thought it was a senior. So when we post the list tomorrow, he'll definitely be on there. He definitely top 3. So that's not a problem. Phillips was 5. Coach Higgins. Yeah, he top 3, Mr. Coach Armstrong. That's a junior. If he's a junior, he definitely, which y'all say he is, he definitely is top 3. So no, that's not a problem at all. All right, so we move into class of 2021, top 10. Going from 10 to 1 once again. All right, so this, it's been real quiet. It's been very, reserved. So when these numbers come out, this is when, business always picks up when you start talking about this 2021 class. But anyway, here we go. Number 10, 6'2" combo guard from Kathleen, Marcellus Thomas. 9, 6'6" guard, Lakeland Christian, Drew Kramer. 8, 6'8" forward, Hardy, Parker Sasser. 7, 6'5" forward from Ridge, Champ Smith. 6, 6'2" guard from Bartow, Amarion Frazier. 5, 6-foot guard from Bartow, Malcolm Dewberry. 4, 6'2" guard from Ridge, Jude St. Jock. 3, 6'8" forward from Arbondale, Diego Plattis Ivan. 2, 6'6" forward from Santa Fe, Alvin Tumblin. And 1, 6'3" guard from Bartow, Walt Clayton.
Well, Coach, we talked about this off air, and the top 10 kids that are there are deserving. I do see this list changing throughout the year, especially in that top 5. Dewberry, I think, was outside of the top 10 overall.
Well, he was over the summer.
So he climbed up in there, and deservingly so. Kid can flat out score. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be great for Bartow. Jude, I think, should be higher. Kid has been putting in work for the last couple of years. You know what I'm saying? And I think people underestimate him basically by how big he is. He's not very big, but somehow, that kid averaged 19 a game last year. You know what I'm saying? He's, with Champ now, I think it's making him even tougher. The top of the list, the top 2 is 1 and 2. Below that, we can debate that all day. Right now, for me, I think Jude is number 3 for me.
How big of a gap is 1? Is it 1 and 2 or is it 1 and 1A?
No, that's 1 and 1A.
Yeah, I think the gap is closed a little bit with between Walt and Alvin.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, they're gonna have different roles for their team, and we're gonna have to talk about evaluating efficiency. You know what I'm saying, and what the impact is overall on the game. But right now, like I said, that's an easy coin flip. Alvin is talented, Walt is talented. I'm curious to see Alvin and his new team and what they do with him. We've got the chance to see them play in the preseason. I think Alvin was trying to do too much instead of letting the game come to him. He was trying to force things. He really looked out of sync. So it's going to be a tough job on Coach Blicker, to get Alvin, comfortable where he can be most effective. And that's what I have with Diego right now. Diego had a high productive summer, especially scoring wise. And the couple games that I've seen, it was tough for them to try to get him the ball in position for him to be successful. Somebody told me that he was hurt. If he is hurt, that explains a lot too. Right. But he just don't look like the same player that I saw this summer. And right now, if it's me, and I can't speak for nobody else, we all came to a consensus on our list. Right now, I will move Jude ahead of him. But everybody else, it's going to be interesting because everybody else can flat out play on this list. And I can see that this list changing as the year goes on.
Because the thing is, you look at Dewberry first time out, he went for 28? First time touching the floor in the Bartow uniform, and KJ went for 23. So like you said, it's definitely some guys that can go on here. And then you look at Diego. He hasn't done as much right now, but like you say, that there are some words that he is, he is hurt. He's dealing with an injury. We don't know that, that hasn't been confirmed or anything. But those, like we talked about, we was at the Arbondale Santa Fe game. They both, Arbondale brought in 8 new guys. Santa Fe brought in 7 new guys. So it's probably going to take a while for them guys to kind of get used to playing together. I do agree with you about Alvin. Alvin was trying to do a whole lot. But it's clear that Santa Fe, he the number 1 option, and he may be the number 2 option. They not making any. It's not a secret that they're trying to get him the ball, which clearly is a great coaching move. I mean, why wouldn't you? But as the year goes on, they kind of get used to playing together. You would expect that things to kind of settle down. You hope I know that Coach Robinson and Coach Blick are hoping that things kind of settle down for both of them. It's going to be interesting to see because Walt hasn't played yet with Dewberry and those guys. So it'll be interesting to see how they all play different to practice as opposed to playing. So it'll be interesting to see how they play together.
But I think what's going to help Diego, coach, is that the football players are coming back. And, I know it's a couple of them are integral and important about what Coach Eric is going to do over there. So maybe it can open up the floor a little bit. They're able to put him in more successful positions in order for him to be himself. So I'm really interested to see, now that they have their whole team, how different they look from the preseason game and even the George Jenkins game that I was able to see, here forward. And I think that's going to actually open up Diego to really show his skill set.
Right. I agree with that. I see in the chat, but I see that Coach Johnson from Frostproof say that Antonio Chaney, he mentioned him for 2021, so I guess he's saying we missed him. And I see where Coach Thomas is mentioning the Jimmy kid from Kathleen the transfer, Taylor Gant, Johnny Torrance, and he also said that Marcellus Thomas will move up. So like I said, this is the preseason top 10 for the seniors, and we get that. That's the 2021 list probably is the hardest one to limit to 10 players because probably from 9 to 13, you can kind of it's about 5 kids for 2 spots. So and we kind of went back and forth with that, me, you, and Tuma for about 2-3 days, kind of trying to put it together. So that's kind of what we came up with. So that's 2021. That's all the classes individual. So now we'll move on to the overall top 20, and we might as well just kind of continue on. So starting with number 20 from Discovery. We had him as a senior, but he's a junior now. But we had him as a senior, but junior guard from Discovery, Willis Stallworth, comes in at number 20. And I know we're gonna get some heat on that one, but once the other names come up, number 19, 2024, out of Winter Haven, 6'4", Isaac Salazar, forward. 18 from 2021 from Lakeland, 5'10" guard, Taylor Gant. 17, 6'3" guard out of Santa Fe, 2021, Johnny Torrance. 16, 6 foot, 2021 guard from Lakeland Christian, Braden Longerberger. 15, 6'2" guard out of Kathleen, 2021, Marcellus Thomas. 14, 6'5" guard, 2023 out of Winter Haven, Tyler Williams. 13, 5'10", 2022 guard out of Lake Wells, Donald Gatlin. 12, 6'1" guard, 2022 out of Santa Fe, Trey Lane. 11, 6'8", 2021, 6'8" forward out of Hardy, Parker Sasser. 10, 6'5" forward out of Ridge, 2021, Champ Smith. 9, 6'6", 2021 guard out of Lakeland Christian, Drew Kramer. 8, 6'2", 2021 guard out of Bartow, Amarion Frazier. 7, 6 foot, 2023 guard out of Winter Haven, Roe Hardy. 6 foot, 2021 guard out of Bartow, Malcolm Dewberry. 5, 6'2", combo guard out of Ridge, Jude St. Jock. 4, 6'8", forward out of Armandale, Diego, 2021, Diego Plattis. 3, 6 foot, 2023 guard out of Bartow, KJ Parker. 2, 6'6", 2021 forward out of Santa Fe, Alvin Tomlin. 1, 6'3", 2021 guard out of Bartow, Walt Clayton. That is the top 20. I said a lot of names right there, Coach. So what's your initial thoughts on the list?
Well, the top 5 didn't change. We still got those up there, but I do expect those to change as the year goes through. Um, I'm really interested on how that Kathleen team shapes up. We know they had a new transfer in. We know Thomas gonna have a featured role along with Shaw. I'm curious on how they develop and what they develop into. I think Thomas got to be way more aggressive this particular year, and by being aggressive, he'll help get his teammates involved. But that's just me on the outside looking in. But whatever his coaches ask him to do, he needs to do. But if he has a high production as far as points and assists, he could easily move up. Johnny Torrance is actually in a real interesting position. We sit up and they talk about Alvin, they talk about Trey, and we see other pieces, but he's in this preseason game that we saw. What I'm saying, he was able to score the ball too. So
he might be the key to their team, coach.
He might be the key to their team, coach.
He
Exactly.
do a lot of stuff that helps them in that game to win. He just did a lot of stuff, coach.
And coach, if they getting 15, 16 from him, man, that's gonna be tough on a lot of people. You can't just really key on Alvin and Trey. But like I said, the top five is the top five. I could see some people flipping throughout the year according to what their production is. 5 through 10, 5 through 15, actually. I think it's going to be fluent. That's going to change every other week. We got some people on some new teams, so they got to define their role on those teams. So it's going to really all come down to production. My thing is, if you're not producing, then there's no way that you can stay the same or stay on this list. And I wouldn't be surprised that we have some other people come on this list, especially from the younger guys that could jump on this overall list, coach. It's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to see it. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and Dewberry made a major jump from the summer to the preseason, but I mean, rightfully so, because it's kind of like we all knew, but it's like folks know because he done went out there and actually played, and he ain't doing nothing that we wasn't aware of before he got where he got at. But I do think that, like we said, Torrance will be the key to how far they can go, because he kind of is a glue guy that can actually do a lot of things for him, and he'll kind of dictate the season for them. So, all right, so those are the player lists. Once we post them, we know we'll get a lot more conversation. I see where couple Frostproof guys in here saying that Frostproof is we're not giving Frostproof any respect yet, but I don't know if we disrespecting anybody, but we definitely, that's not our intent to disrespect anybody. We just list them, we conversate about them, and we'll make adjustments as need be, as the season goes.
My thing is they're gonna have to beat, some of the good teams in the county. I'm actually fortunate. I think I have one of their games as a referee, so I'm gonna really be evaluating to see what they really have down there. Frostproof has talent. I saw them last year and this summer. They have talent. You know what I'm saying? They really just got to put it together and be able to beat solid teams. I think they've been up and down when they play really good teams. They have a good performance. They may beat them, they may not. They just have to show that consistency that they're ready to make it on that stage.
And isn't Frostproof in the same district as Lakeland Christian and Santa Fe?
Yes. So it's going to be really tough for them. So if you play those teams, we're going to see how you play against those teams. That's going to be your measuring stick.
They'll get a good chance to show it. So it won't be hard to, for them to show that they belong. So, all right, Coach, we're going to move right into the preseason top 20 teams. So we're going to start with, we're doing 5 at a time and get, some feedback. So starting with 20, Fort Meade. 19, Mulberry. Frostproof plays at Victory on Tuesday. I didn't have that one on my list. That might not be a bad one to check out. Okay, keep me focused. 18, appreciate that, Coach Wines. May have to check that one out. 18 is Haines City. 17 is Victory, and 16 is McKeel. So 16 through 20, McKeel, Victory, Haines City, Mulberry, Fort Meade. It's going to be interesting to see what Victory has this year because, each year they kind of get those kids from overseas. Sometimes they come, sometimes they don't. I know they got, transfer. They got the Ricketts kid from Lake Gibson. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't know if the big kid made it back. The 6'11" kid out from what last we heard, he was still overseas. He hadn't came back, stateside. Coach Wines, you all here. I know you kind of with Victory, so you don't have to give any, trade secrets, but it's always the reason why we got Victory right there is more or less because of the unknown. You just don't know what they got. You don't know what they got until you show up. Coach Wyman said they don't have any overseas kids, so it'll be interesting to see kind of what they do have. So that's 16 through 20. We know we saw McKeel. We know McKeel has the freshman Sessoms running the point. They got Cooper Ellis, who's honorable mention All-County last year. He does a pretty decent job. They got a big kid in the paint. So they lost a kid from Victory, and Harrison went to Kathleen. So yeah, Victory's gonna be interesting. I don't know if they got us what they've always had, so we'll have to see. So that's kind of why we got them right there because of the unknown. So that's another piece to the Kathleen, the young Kathleen puzzle. Coach Higgins just said Kathleen got another transfer. That Coach Shaw once again and tell us another. Coach Shaw just ain't gonna give him no transfer information, but it's okay. We ain't gonna we beat that horse to death. So 15 through 11, 15 Frostproof. They're probably gonna say we disrespecting them, but I get it. 14 Lake Wells, 13 Jenkins, 12 Lake Region, 11 Discovery. So 11 through 15 Discovery, 11. 12 Lake Region, 13 Jenkins, 14 Lake Wells, 15 Frostproof. Any thoughts on those five, Coach?
Coach, I haven't seen Lake Region yet, and I'm curious to see, what they have. They got two good seniors with Arthur and Skip's son, but I'm really curious about what they have around them. I think everybody else is where they're supposed to be. Frostproof Lake Wells beat them in the preseason, so I don't have a problem with Lake Wells being in front of them, but that can easily flip throughout the season. It was a really close game. Jenkins, Coach, we was able to see Jenkins. I was actually impressed with what Coach Gent put together over there, because I'm not going to lie, I really didn't think they'll have much, but Coach Gent is doing a great job. Them kids play hard. They play to the whistle. They are skilled. They actually can. Some of them can shoot the ball. The Gibson kid, I think it was number 13, can actually shoot the ball. If he can get them to take care of the basketball and limit those scoring droughts, he may sneak up on some people, Coach, at Jenkins.
He got the freshman kid handling the ball, so you got those those growing pains he's going to deal with. I know. In the preseason over in Zephyr Hills, he averaged over 20 a game, but then the other night, the game you saw, he kind of struggled. So that's kind of a freshman. He's going to be great one night. He's going to struggle the next night. So, yeah, like you said, Jenkins could actually, because they started from scratch. They had 8 or 9 seniors, and then they lost Diego, and then they lost the other kid. We found out that went to Lake Region. So he started with a whole brand new team. So, Coach Johnson say Frostproof had 5 kids with Lake Wells and Ridge, lost both by 3. Coach, we know, Coach. We know y'all was shorthanded, Coach. We not. Let me put my hands up. I know they kind of outside screen, Coach. No disrespect, the Frostproof. We know you wouldn't have all your kids. They were still playing football. So that's why when he put up that y'all playing Victory on Tuesday, that kind of caught my eye because I want to see you with your full team. We don't have plenty of time to see you out with your full team. And no disrespect to you. It's preseason ranking. The rankings change. The team rankings change week to week. So I mean, where you start now won't be where you end. But we get it. We get it. You gotta speak up for you guys, and we respect that, and we wouldn't expect nothing less. All right, so we move into the top 10. Number 10, Lakeland Christian. 9, Kathleen. 8, Lakeland. 7, Sebring. 6, Hardee. Once again, 6, Hardee. 7, Sebring. 8, Lakeland. 9, Lakeland Christian. 9, Kathleen. 10, Lakeland Christian. What's your thoughts, Coach?
Coach, this where it's get really, really tough. I think this is gonna change, throughout the season. Kathleen is gonna be coach tough. They're gonna come out with that pride, and they're gonna be tough game in, game out. But they have some new pieces, so Coach Shaw gonna have to really put it together. Lakeland Christian is the group I think may move out of the top 10 according to their schedule. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, they're really talented. They're really, really talented. They got great shooters, but their schedule, is I'm curious on how consistent they're going to be. And they're the team out of that 5 I can see moving out of the top 10. It's not because they're not good. It's actually because they're challenging themselves and getting themselves ready, for February. But Kathleen, I'm really challenging Hardee because I think with all they had coming back, they should press to be in that top 5. And the question mark is Coach Prince down at Sebring. You know what I'm saying? We haven't seen that team yet. We've seen the team that he had last year, but the question mark is what he has down there at Sebring. And look, it had a good showing against Avon Park. So I'm curious to see what Coach Prince have down there. So that 5 there, I think is going to be changing a whole lot this season.
Well, I agree with you on Lakeland Christian, Coach. I got a chance to watch them play against Winter Haven when Winter Haven didn't have all the guys, and I was real. I don't know if I want to use the word disappointed, but I know we had high expectations for them, and they just. Now, I will say they run a lot of stuff, Coach. They on offense, they are continually moving. I mean, they it's pass cut, it's pass, back screen, it's pass, flex. I mean, they doing a lot of movement, and they took a lot of shots. They just didn't make them. So. But they were shooting it, and it was good shots, and they were wide open shots that just couldn't make them. So you figure if they hitting those shots, it's a whole different outcome of the game. So, and even saying that, they still had a chance to win it. But and they got size, but that's the first thing that you notice that you don't really you don't think that they got some size. I mean, the Kramer kids 6'6", but they got a couple other kids that's got some good size too, and Longerberger do a good job. So I could see them moving out, Coach. But I can also see them moving up because of the way they can shoot the ball and what they do on offense.
They're going to give those teams a scare and maybe even beat 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah.
But it's just all according to how they shoot the ball.
All according to how they shoot the ball. I agree with you about Kathleen. Kathleen got a pretty young team, pretty new team. So it's going to be interesting to see how they develop. Sebring actually got they had a lot of kids playing football, and they got their kids back a whole lot earlier than they thought they was going to get them. They didn't expect to get their kids, definitely not this week. I don't know if you heard, Coach, they was up 41-16 at halftime in the playoff game and lost 49-46.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, they a lot of game that like one of the upsets of the year. So they had no plans to have their kids this early. So they actually play Lakeland tomorrow. And he got out. He gonna have his kids, and so Sebring definitely could surprise some folks. And like you say, Hardee, I mean, they probably the most experienced team in the whole area as far as amount of kids they brought back that was with them last year. So it'll be interesting to see how they pan out. And then Lakeland without they lost Pat, AJ, and Drew. But they still got Taylor, they still got Vez, they still got, a couple other kids, so it'll be interesting to see Drew. It'll be interesting to see how they put things together starting tomorrow. All right, so our top 5. 5, Winter Haven. 4, Arbondale. 3, Ridge. 2, Santa Fe. 1, Bartow. So once again, 1, Bartow. 2, Santa Fe. 3, Ridge. 4, Arbondale. 5, Winter Haven. What's your thoughts, Coach?
I'm okay with this list and how it is now. Like I said, Coach Eric has getting his football players back, so he's gonna have a totally different team. Um, Talking to people on his staff and watching them play, um, they're trying to work through some things at Arbondale, and it may take a couple weeks. You know, who knows on how they come together. I think easily Arbondale and Winter Haven can be flipped by what I've seen so far. The rest of the three, they belong there for now, but that could possibly change too. Now, I noticed that we put up numbers from a tournament that Santa Fe was in. I didn't see Alvin's name on there. Did he play, Coach? Do you know?
That's a good question. I just saw it got tweeted, and then I saw that they ended up losing. They took one on the chin Saturday, but I didn't see his name, which you would think he didn't play because it would be hard to say that he played and wouldn't have been one of those top guys scoring wise. So I don't know to answer your question. I don't. Oh yeah, he did play. Is what somebody just posted. He did play. So I mean, one thing about Coach Blicker, Coach Blicker don't run from people. So you know he's scheduled. He don't cupcake his schedule, which you got to respect, and that gets our respect because we don't want you running from people, and so because that kind of lessens your legitimacy. So they played a pretty good team from what I understand over the weekend, and they took one on the chin. But hey, that's one of the things you do. You kind of learn and you grow by playing. But no, he wasn't in the tweet that I saw. He wasn't listed for the first half. Now the guy didn't tweet. He tweeted the final score, but he didn't tweet like point wise. But they played Jackson out of Jacksonville, and you know, Coach, that Jackson is usually pretty tough. So yeah, that ain't no cupcake. So they like I said, they not running from nobody. So they that's one to grow on, I guess.
Well, the thing is, Coach, what we're gonna have to actually analyze is how they play against those teams versus how they play against the teams in the county, and we're gonna have to basically evaluate, whether it's a good loss or a bad loss in order to move them up or down. Like you said, with them playing Jackson is pretty tough, especially in Jacksonville. When we was at Lake Wells, we was able to go up there and play them, and they're tough in Jacksonville. So that's not a bad loss for them. But strength of schedule is going to play a big part. Bartow had a really, really tough schedule at the beginning of the year, but because of COVID, a lot of stuff has changed. They're still going to have a tough schedule, but I expect them, to drop a couple games. But when they come around in February, Coach McGriff is going to have them ready to go. Like I said, top 5, I'm okay with where it is right now. I see Winter Haven moving up. I think they got a lot of promise in those young kids. And if Coach Woodside are able to keep them together and keep them from making those young mistakes, they're going to be, tough to deal with. But Bartow, rightfully so. Santa Fe, where they're supposed to be. And I'm curious about Ridge, Coach. They had a really, really great year last year. Now they add Champ to that, plus with autumn transfers that they got. I'm really curious, will they be able to play at a high level all season long?
It's going to be interesting. And also because, and the thing about Ridge, Coach, they could play great, and it may not even matter because of the district they're in. They're in the district with Osceola and Windermere. Mm-hmm. So, but they definitely got some talent. They got some with Champ, Trayvon, and Jude. They got a 3. They probably got the best trio. Well, outside of Bartow, I guess Bartow would have something to say in the county as far as 3-headed monsters. Bartow got about 4 or 5-headed monsters, so that's kind of a little different.
Yeah, the great thing about that anybody can go off at any given night. So somebody might be having an off night, somebody can pick it up from there. What I am curious about is Coach Blicker gonna have to figure out that point guard situation. Watching them play, Trey is definitely able to do it, but he's definitely wearing himself out playing the point guard, playing defense at a high level. It's gonna have to be somebody else to step up to help handle the ball and help orchestrate that team.
I agree with that, Coach, because we watched the game and he ended up with 17, Coach, but he hit 1 3. I think he only took 1 3. So it's like a different 17 than you're used to him getting. You're used to him, getting them from three, shooting it and whatnot. And I see where Kevin Pruitt said no PG hurt him all night. So I'm assuming that Jackson pressured him. But if Trey is the only one that's handling the ball, and then the backup PG is actually Jonah Torrance, but it would be they're going to have to be able to against the better teams. I would guess. I'm not saying they would, but I'm guessing they're going to have to be able to handle the pressure. And like you said, Trey being the only PG that he got, that's going to be tough because it's going to obviously it's going to take away from his offense. It has no choice. If you bring the ball up against pressure the whole game, something else is going to have to, it's going to suffer. So, but I don't know if he don't have a choice though, from what we saw, unless he got somebody else that I know the Corey Warren kid didn't play, but he's not a point guard. So unless maybe he is PG now, I know he wasn't last year, so maybe he gonna help handle the ball. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be and with the schedule he got, which is a tough schedule, you got to figure that he gonna see a lot of pressure. He gonna see a lot of pressure all year long. If I'm scouting them, and we said that while we was watching them, if I'm scouting them, even if we not pressuring them, we are. I mean, if we're not getting turnovers, we still pressuring him. Because we figure we're just gonna wear him down because he's the only one that get on the ball. I don't know, but that's gonna be tough.
You remember I said that before, this summer about Trey and about Santa Fe. If they're gonna play him at the point, it's gonna take away from his offense. But you know what though? Watching that kid got a heart of a lion. He doesn't back down from anything. He's smart. But Coach Blicker gonna have to put something together in order to help that kid out and the rest of the team out as much as possible. Maybe having different people bring it up that are capable of bringing it up and starting the offense. He's gonna have to look at. But
if Trey's off the ball, it helps Alvin out because now you can't clog the lane, you can't run guys at Alvin because you got another legitimate optional offense. Where if he's sitting there having to deal with pressure all game, then it's going to be much easier for people to run people at Alvin, which kind of limit him, kind of clog the lane, so he can't really do what he do. So, like you say, it's definitely going to be a domino effect. But you figure that if he the guy, he kind of have to get better at it and get used to it because from what we've seen, based off what they put out against Arbondale, it looks like he's going to be the guy. If he's not handling the ball, it's going to be Jonah Torrance. So that's going to be interesting to see how that develops throughout the season with those two guys.
Even with that, Coach, the teams from the county are going to have to go out there and beat them.
Yeah.
If you want to say that you're better than them or that your record is better than them, when you go head to head, you're going to have to beat them in order to convince, me for sure that you're actually better than them. Them going outside and playing good teams, that's what they're supposed to do, in order to get battle tested. But when you have your chance, you're going to have to go out and prove that you're better than them. Definitely.
Gotcha. I agree with that. Sure. All right, Coach. So this is what we got, next part of the thing. We'll do this every week. We won't do the rankings like we did today every week, but every week we're going to pick the top games for the week. And this is the first week of the season, so everybody's playing. So we've chosen 7 games this week. Some weeks it'll be more, some weeks it'll be less, but this week we got 7 games and the way we'll do it is we'll talk about them. You'll give your prediction. I'll give my prediction. Tuma will give his. Tuma will probably do his different because he's not on right now, and then we'll keep a running tab. So like next week we'll say, before we pick the next week games, we'll say how you did the week before.
Okay.
So first game on Friday, and if I got the game date wrong, I'm just going off what's on, what was presented to me or what's on Max Prep. So, but this week, Friday on Max Preps right now, you have a rivalry game, Kathleen at Jenkins. So both teams will have already played a game or two during that week, so it won't be their first game of the year, but they play on Friday. That's our first game, Kathleen Jenkins. What's your thoughts, Coach?
I think Kathleen have a little bit more experience, especially with bringing Jimmy in. But I actually think it's going to be a dog fight. But I'm going to take Kathleen in that one.
You going to take Kathleen on the road?
Yeah, I'm going to take Kathleen on the road.
Okay, so we got Kathleen with Thomas and Shaw, and then they got a lot of new guys, a lot of new faces that'll be in place. They got the kid from Tampa, they got the JV kids moving up. So they got their football kids now because Kathleen's out. So I don't know how many of those guys will play, but I'm assuming that they're gonna play. Jenkins, we know that they've had their guys for a little while. Jenkins is young, brand new team. They'll be at home. Jenkins always plays well at home. They're probably 10 points better at home than they are on the road. Jenkins beat Kathleen 3 times last year. And you remember when they came on the show, Jen made sure he let Shaw know that we beat you 3 times. So, but that team that beat Shaw and Kathleen is gone, essentially. He got a bunch of new faces out there. I think the only kid that's playing that played last year, got in the minutes, is the Ramble kid. And so for that reason, I like even in Jenkins where it's hard to win, and Kathleen has struggled to win in Jenkins, I'm going to take Kathleen also. But it wouldn't surprise me if Jenkins beats them.
Not at all.
At Jenkins plays pretty tough. They're pretty tough at home, and it's been a Friday night. All right. So the next game, Coach, Hardy at Frostproof. That's also on a Friday night. So we got Hardy, who's bringing back everybody, and they got the transfer from Fort Meade, 6'6" kid from Fort Meade, to go with the other 9 guys they bringing back. And you got Frostproof, who's going to Coach Johnson and Coach Brewer that's been on here is telling us that, first of all, we sleeping on Frostproof, but that they got and you say you kind of seen them a little bit, so that's a rivalry game too because they kind of in that same little area. They're not too far from each other. So Hardy at Frostproof Friday night. Who you like?
Yes, Coach, I have seen them, and they, like I said, Frostproof has talent. I just like to see them more consistent when they play actually good teams. Hardy got a lot of expectations. They got one of the top players in the county with Parker, and I don't know if they'll have an answer for Parker. So I'm gonna take Hardy in that one.
You take Hardy on the road.
Take Hardy on the road.
I just feel like for whatever reason, I think Hardy got something to prove. I don't know how Frostproof is at home. I do know that they got a lot of kids. They got a lot of expectations, but I do, like you said, I think Parker is going to be tough to deal with. But they got those guards. They got the Bryan kid. They got the other kid, the White kid, Kadarius White. That's pretty tough too. So they Hardy guards are pretty tough.
Yeah, Coach. The sad thing, I won't say the sad thing. The thing is about Frostproof, Coach. They actually can be really, really good. I'm telling you, Coach, they have talent down there. It's just them being consistent. And I know they're being coached well. I know they're going to come out and play hard. It's just, some games they'll come out and be world beaters, and then the next game, they don't play very well. So I'm just really looking for consistency against them. Can they beat Hardy? Yes, they can. They have enough talent down there in order to do it. But I think Hardy is going to be ahead of them because, one, they're going to have everybody. Frostproof just getting everybody back, from football also. So I just think they have more time in the gym right now, and I think their team will be a little bit more ahead.
Well, for whatever reason, Coach, and I could be totally off on this, I don't know if I'm drinking the Coach Johnson juice, but since it's at home now, if it was at Hardy, I would think different. Friday night in Frostproof, I don't know if it's an upset, but I'm going to go with Frostproof in that one, and I could be wrong. I definitely could be wrong on that one, but
we definitely going to come back to this one next week.
Yeah, that one can go over there. All right, next one tomorrow night at Lakeland. Sebring at Lakeland. Sebring got all their football guys. It remains to be seen if Coach Taylor's going to play his football guys. I know they just lost on Friday. I don't know if he's going to play Taylor and Quiz and those other guys. Whether he plays his guys or not, I guess makes a difference. I know that Coach Harris is going to play his guys because he's had them. So Sebring at Lakeland. What you think?
Coach, it just all depends. If
Can we
those kids,
can we do this one not knowing if he?
I said we throw this one out.
Okay.
I said we throw this one out.
Okay, because we don't know. Well, maybe the next one we know. So the next one is I got it on here as Wednesday, but I saw Coach Blicker posted as Tuesday, Santa Fe at Jenkins. It's Tuesday or Wednesday night, but it's at Jenkins. So this will be Jenkins' first game. Well, not first game of the week. So Santa Fe at Jenkins. So you got Santa Fe, who we don't talk about a couple times. We don't talk about Jenkins a couple times. So kind of contrasting styles. Both teams got guards that they breaking in. I guess Santa Fe is a lot bigger than Jenkins, so it'll be interesting. So what you think on that?
Go check out Santa Fe and like I said, Jen's doing a great job. They'll play tough, but they shouldn't. Santa Fe should be able to handle Jenkins.
Should be. And I think that too. I don't think that because Jenkins doesn't press the ball. They play half court man to man. That's been their staple since Coach Meyer was there. That was when Coach Jenkins there. So they're not going to pick up in pressure. So Trey
actually, Coach, they picked up against Auburndale. You know what I'm saying? They picked them up full court. Yeah, they picked them up full court. They didn't trap out of it, but they picked them up full court. So that was surprising.
So if they're not trapping or pressing, though, I guess let me say it that way. If they're not trapping or pressing, Trey can handle the ball. Just somebody pick it up 94 feet. Johnny can too. So and that result, and then Jenkins ain't got nobody. And I haven't seen Jenkins, but I don't think they got anybody that can do anything with Alvin. And so for that reason, I'm with you. I'll take Santa Fe with that one too. All right. Next one. Kathleen at Winter Haven. Right now, what I got that game on Thursday, December 3rd. So you got the new look Kathleen and the new look Winter Haven. The game is in Winter Haven.
I like Winter Haven at home, Coach. I like Winter Haven at home. I like them young kids and what they're doing. Like I said, Kathleen is early. They're going to be better towards the end of the season than they are right now. I think it's going to be a barn burner, though, Coach. It's probably going to come down to the wire, but I like Winter Haven to squeak it out at the end.
The thing about this one, Coach, neither team is going to be like overly big, I guess, because all of Winter Haven size is transferred out. Kathleen is not overly big. Both teams are going to play, hard and tough and physical. It'll be interesting to see kind of what Winter Haven does because Coach Woodside, one of his staples has been that 1-3-1 with all that length, and I'd be interested to see if he runs does that again. Winter Haven definitely has the advantage when you look at guard players as far as role because they have a true point. Although the transfer kid, everybody's real high on him from Tech, so. That'll be an interesting matchup. You got the kid, I guess his name is Jimmy from Kathleen against Rowe. And then you got Tyler against Marcellus. You got Shaw against Salazar. So you got some interesting matchups. I guess RJ against Phillips, against little Jamie. So you got some interesting matchups. I think it'll come down to which team is the deepest. And I really haven't seen Kathleen to see how deep they are. I know they're going to be bringing a lot of kids up. And I mean, Winter Haven, I know what they put out that other night, and then they're going to add. Do you know, is the Ventura more kid that's the playing coach?
I don't know if he's playing yet, but I know that he's here. So
I think that makes I think he makes a big difference.
Agreed. But he's supposed to be playing. He is supposed to be playing.
I think it's close too, Coach. And anytime it's a close game, I always try to tend to go with the home team just for whatever reason. So I'm going to go with Winter Haven in a close one too, less than 5.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2, Bartow at Dr. Phillips. That's right now on the schedule. I see it as Saturday, December 5th. If Bartow scheduled them, I'm assuming they're pretty decent.
Yeah.
So my first question is it going to be the Bartow with Walt or the Bartow without Walt?
Man, you never
I think that makes a big difference. Can Bartow beat Dr. Phillips without Walt?
I don't think. I think they'll have a shot without Walt. You know what I'm saying? Because they still got people that put the ball in the hole with KJ, with Will Marion, and with Dewberry. Um, and then plus they play defense, and what he wanted to do is play in transition. They still can beat them without Walt. Is Walt hurt? Have you heard, Coach?
Coach, I don't know. I haven't talked to Coach McGriff. I just know he didn't play in the tip-off, so I don't know if he hurt. I don't know if they just kept him out precautionary. I don't know. I just know he didn't play, which to me was surprising because I would expect him to play against somebody like Windermere. Maybe not West Orange. I don't know, but I would have expected him to play against Windermere. So I was surprised that he didn't play, but I don't know if he hurt or not because I haven't talked to Coach McGriff to know.
Oh, Coach, man.
It's tough to win in Dr. Phillips. That's gonna be a tough road game on a Saturday night too.
It's at Dr. Phillips. I'm looking at Dr. Phillips' page right now, and it's saying that they are away at Bartow.
Well, I mean, you may be right. It might, if it's at Bartow, that definitely changed it. I thought it was at. I could have had it wrong. I could have looked at it wrong. Are you looking at it now? I'll pull it up and look.
Yeah, I'm looking at it on Max Preps right now, and it's saying that it's at Bartow.
Oh, if it's at Bartow, then yeah, that definitely changed things.
I mean, but that all depends. If Walt plays, I'm gonna pick Bartow. But if Walt's not playing, I'm gonna pick Dr. Phillips. Because looking at Dr. Phillips' schedule, they don't had played some decent programs. So I don't really know how tough they are. But I'll take Bartow at home.
Yeah, if it's at home, I got Bartow. If it's on the road, I'll be honest. If it was at the road, I was gonna take Dr. Phillips. But I wrote it down on the road, so I'll take Bartow also. And I guess our game of the week, unless something change, Arbondale on Thursday. Arbondale at Ridge. So you got the number 3 team right now preseason versus the number 4 team preseason. You got a lot of interesting components in that one. So we know Ridge is tough to deal with at home. So matchup. I mean, go ahead. What you think? I'll let you go first.
I mean, guard wise, Ridge obviously win that battle. Arbondale's way bigger. They have some skilled kids with those big kids with Turner and Diego. I think Champ coming in and being able to play at the beginning of the season is huge. I just don't know where Arbondale is right now. They have a lot of things that they know they need to work on. I've talked to, one of their coaches, and it may take a couple weeks to get it together. That always happens when you have a lot of transfers come in. But Ridge got a lot of transfers that come in too. But right now, the way I've seen these teams play, I'm gonna take Ridge at home.
Ridge is tough at home, and they are experienced. They're more experienced right now than Arbondale. Like you said, I think the Arbondale that we're seeing right now should change by the January Arbondale is going to look different than the November Arbondale or December Arbondale. And the February Arbondale is going to look different than the January Arbondale. So, but right now, early in the year, you got Jude, Champ, and Trayvon who have played together, who are much more experienced. Now, you got Ridge got a lot of transfers too, just like Arbondale, but they got enough returning guys.
Yeah, that core group still together.
Guys that can play, and they home, and it's tough to win. It's tough. It's tough to get over there on that Ridge and Davenport, coach. It gets a little tough to deal with them. So for that reason, I also like Ridge as well. And that should be a good one to take in. So to recap, and we'll get to do his, and once he does his, we'll post them. But Both of us like Kathleen against Jenkins. You like Hardy. I like Frostproof. Both of us like Santa Fe in the Santa Fe Jenkins game. Both of us like Winter Haven in the Kathleen Winter Haven game. Both of us like Bartow in the Bartow Dr. Phillips, and both of us like Ridge in the Arbondale Ridge. So we didn't do Lakeland because we don't know if Coach Taylor gonna play his football guys or not. So all right, so we did 6 for this week. All right, Coach. So next thing that kind of broke today, and your thoughts on it, is a staple in our community, a staple in our end of the season, getting yourself ready for the playoffs, has always been the mosaic. And the news broke today that based off the Polk County Health Department, it was just decided to be in the interest of health and safety and the caution that they're not going to play the game this year, not going to play the mosaic this year. What are your initial thoughts on that?
Initially, I thought it should have just moved the location, maybe to the Lakeland Center. But after talking to, a few people about, and just gathering information, it actually makes sense. Mosaic is the weekend before the district tournament. So say you play the Mosaic and the team that you play against have a positive test. That means your team has to quarantine for 14 days. And then that team cannot play in the district tournament. So you could potentially be playing the district tournament with your JV players or somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think it's worth it. Not, to play that game with potentially basically end of your season, especially if you're Bartow, you're returning state champion. So say you play that game, I think they was playing Windermere on that Saturday night. One of the Windermere kids test positive. Bartow got a quarantine for 14 days. So therefore they missed their district tournament with their, the starters in their varsity team. They might have to play with their JV team. I don't think it's worth it. I mean, it makes so much sense that I talked to Coach Johnny today, like, hey, we need to try to reschedule our game to make sure that it don't happen to us on the girls' side.
It's almost like you want to, and I agree with you, Coach. It's almost like the district is the second week in February. It's almost like you want to shut things down that last week of January and not even play that first week. Don't even risk it, because like you say, you just don't know. I know a lot of people are shocked by it. I know a lot of people are not happy about it. But like you said, Coach, in the interest of health, you just short of quarantine. And you see how the NCAA, I saw today where they have announced that they're going to do the entire tournament in Indianapolis. So it's not going to be any like regions and all that. Every game is going to be in Indianapolis this year for the NCAA tournament. And so you watch basketball. I was watching today. I watched a little bit of Kentucky game. I was kind of channel surfing, and there was nobody in the gym. They got the chairs spaced out like they did in the bubble for the NBA. I know you guys have been playing. How have you all, with the girls? Because the boys, start up this week. But how have you all? I know we went to a game, and it's not even a thing where you do at the end of the game where, you used to do the handshake at the end of the game. Now you just kind of point at the coach and you just kind of go. You saw I was in one game where they didn't even do a jump ball. So it's just been a lot of different stuff you've had to adjust to. So how's it been for you all kind of adjusting to that?
Coach, is different. And the jump ball situation is up to the coaches. They decide that in their pregame what they want. So it could be a jump ball or it could be an alternate possession, end where the away team gets the ball first. And that's up to the coaches in the beginning. We had a shootout this weekend in Winter Haven, which was very successful. And we had the chairs spaced out as far as the players goes. I actually seen some teams play with a mask. Mask was required for everybody to be in the gym. They was always spraying the chairs and the balls after every quarter, after every game, just to be as clean as possible. I think every precaution is being taken, but it only limits, the percentages of you getting it. I mean, it's still a chance, but it's still they're taking every precaution that we can, and we was fortunate this weekend to have a successful event.
And you all kind of almost had something like a mosaic because you all had
Yes,
all the top teams coming in from around the county. You got,
yes,
so y'all were kind of in the same
yeah.
boat.
We had a lot of Orlando teams. I think Lake Highland Prep is the number one team in the nation in some polls. So it was Miami Country Day won like 5 in a row. You had us in Winter Haven. You had Wakaiva, one of the top teams in the state. You had a lot of talent. The thing is that with girls, with the mosaic coach, it'd be standing room only, especially when it's those late games. So in the gym in Winter Haven, it still was you was able to space out. You didn't have to be up under anyone if you didn't want to. You know what I'm saying? Like girls' games are just not as highly attended as the mosaic would have been, but we were still able to have people in the stands. They had a backup plan, to possibly if you're rooting for whatever team, and then let everybody else stand on the outside. There were backup plans, for safety reasons, but we was able to pull it off, and it was actually a great event.
Okay. Well, Coach, I want to ask you this: what is your Well, we'll do this first. I had put on the page this week that um, we were going to talk about the toughest places to play in the county, and so if you had to I'm not going to say five. That might be too many. But if you want to say three, the three toughest places to play in the county.
Like ever, or just right now?
However you want to answer it.
Okay,
You can do both, ever and now.
I'm
See if
I'm I'm gonna do ever. The three toughest places to play. One is Kathleen. Kathleen always was well attended. Um, it's a tough fan base to play against in Kathleen. If you get into the Drew Taylor years, he'll cut the heat on, things of that nature. Um, but Kathleen it was always tough to go in and play Kathleen. No matter if they had a great team or just, a good team, you wasn't just gonna go in there and just beat Kathleen. They was gonna fight, claw, do whatever in order to, make things happen. So I think Kathleen has to be top three in my book as far as places to play. Another one that I thought was tough to play was Haines City, especially when Haines City had one high school there. You know what I'm saying? It was well attended. People on the front row all over the court. Um, they had a fan base that actually, was always at the players and everything. It was a really tough place to play, especially when it was one city, one high school. But the toughest place to play in the county that I have ever seen was the hot box in Bartow. Back in those 80s years in that gym, no AC. They had them little fans that didn't do anything.
it didn't
But
work.
that was the toughest play. It seemed like when, I wasn't playing then, but I watched my brother play, but it seemed like the fans was like on top of you. You know what I'm saying? Like even when you sat on the bench, it just seemed like the fans was on top of you. And the atmosphere that they created in there, it wasn't many people that went into Bartow and beat them in that gym. And I think that was the toughest place to play in the county by far.
Is Bartow the toughest place to play? Fast forward to present.
I think so. You know what I'm saying? They've created a culture and an environment over there where they get, a lot of support. Fan base comes in to see them play, no matter who they're playing, whether it's one of the best teams in the state or it's in a cupcake. Bartow comes out and they support, and they are interactive. They're in the game. They support their team. They support the players. They're tough on the refs. You know what I'm saying? That first, couple rows in front of the scores table, they tough on everybody. They tough on the players. They tough on the ref. You know what I'm saying? And right now with the confidence that Coach McGriff and his players got, it's tough to go in there and get a win. Really tough.
What about Kathleen? Is Kathleen still a tough place to play?
I don't think so. They don't carry that mystique anymore, and it's not only them; it's everybody else too. I remember when at one point, at one time in the state, people didn't want to cross them county lines to play any team. They didn't even want to cross the county lines to play Haines City, to play Bartow, to play Lake Wells, to play Kathleen, to play Lake Gibson. They didn't want to cross those lines in order to play us, and I don't think that mystique still stands to this day. Nobody don't mind coming over here and play. We don't have that tough Polk County mystique anymore, and I think it's something that we have to get back. Even Winter Haven coach Woodside has had a lot of success over there. I don't think the environment created in the gym makes it a tough place to play. You know what I'm saying? Even with our girls team, we've had the best girls team, since I've been over there, and the gym don't be packed, coach. I mean, I don't understand it. Like, how can you not support those type of situations?
Had all that going on this weekend, and y'all still didn't have a good turnout.
I mean, it was a decent turnout. You know what I'm saying? But it was actually funny because me and Johnny talked about it. I think it was more people in the stands that was not from Winter Haven, just curious to see what we had and curious to see how we matched up against everybody. Then you have some people in the stand, I think was just there to watch us lose, to see if we was going to lose. But it's not like it's a created environment that benefits us, because it's not. You know what I'm saying? I would like to see what Tuma was talking about in one of the earlier shows, is to get, the kids involved, have some kind of student section, have some type of, pride thing where, it's like the Cameron Crazies, you know what I'm saying? And just create that type of environment, back here in Polk County. That'll be awesome.
So Bartow's a tough environment. Besides, after that, it just kind of.
I don't think nowhere else comes close right now that I've seen, as far as environment goes.
I think it's almost criminal, and criminal probably not the right word, but it's just amazing to me that Winter Haven girls doesn't have the same type of environment as Bartow boys with the body of work that both programs have been able to produce. That's amazing for me to hear you say that y'all had a top state event and you still didn't have the type of support, and then some of the support was there to see if y'all were not going to perform. That's crazy. That's crazy that's where we're at as it relates to Polk County with overall. But with girls, we got one state level, national level team, and you would think that it would be more. And it was during the holiday weekend, so it's not like you had anything to do it. Now maybe, devil's advocate, maybe you stayed home because of COVID. Maybe you didn't want to come out. Okay, so we'll give you that. But the ones that did come and they still there, rooting against y'all or low key hating, hoping y'all don't perform. That's just crazy. That's crazy that we still there. Now you would think at some point we move past that, but we still there.
Coach, I don't understand it. But one thing is, I'm always be a supporter of the county and this area. So if anybody make it, they're gonna always have my support. And if they need anything, they can always reach out to me or us. What we're doing over there at Winter Haven. But it's crazy. Like, Coach, I can relate to that even when I was at Lake Wells. People didn't really come watch us play until we was in the playoffs. I don't know what's the understanding behind it, but I guess they just trying to see if you're gonna get there. And then it's crazy when you get there, then everybody, want to coach or have a suggestion.
Everybody should do this. Why you didn't do this? Should be doing this. The more you play, the more coaches you pick up.
Mm-hmm. So, but for those girls, man, they need more support. And I'm not only talking about support in the stands. It's just like, people support Bartow financially, and Coach McGriff are able to provide, a whole lot of things to his program, but that's not even the case at Winter Haven. We got to scratch and claw, to get the necessities for those girls. And I think it's a shame. I've said it before in our banquets, but I plead that the community gets behind that team and that program. There's no reason why they should have to want for anything.
You're a national program coach, and y'all got to kick, scratch, and claw. That's so sad. That's so sad. Oh. So, coach, the last thing that I want to ask you, I got one. I want to ask you first though, to give, and if you got more than one, that's fine. But what's one bold, bold prediction that you have for this upcoming season?
A bold prediction for this upcoming season. To be honest, Coach, that we might not have a season. That is my prediction. And the way things are going right now, I don't think we're going to be able to finish it. And it's going to be, the class of 21 has been dumped on this whole entire time. And for them not to be able to finish their senior season is going to be hurtful, Coach. And with the cases rising, school system talking about going virtual, it's already states that have shut down sports. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes next for us. So I'd be surprised if we even finish the season. That's my bold prediction.
That's crazy. That's crazy because it could happen. If you already canceling the mosaic, and that's the whole end of the season, you got to get to the mosaic. So you got to get to February. That could definitely happen. You just
and there's already been some teams in Polk County that have had the quarantine. I know one girls team for sure, but it's already been some teams that had the quarantine. So that's automatic 2 weeks that you miss. As far as another prediction,
I'm gonna write this down, Coach.
Another prediction, a bold one, is that we don't have nobody go to the White House from the county. That's a bold prediction. If I just had to jump out there and make one. Should happen, but that would be a bold.
Okay, my first bold prediction. I think it's a very good chance that no Polk County teams win a district championship. Well, let me change that. There's one district that's all Polk County, so in that case, that it has to be Polk County. So that one, and I guess the Lakeland Christian Santa Fe, that's a Polk County district, so that would have to be one. But maybe I need to say it. Maybe I need to clarify. I don't know if it's a bold prediction, but I think we'll have less teams that make it to the playoffs if we have one. Because basically, like what you just said, we may not even have one. If we have a playoff, we're going to have less teams that make the playoffs than last year. I don't know if that's a bold prediction or not, but I also think that I think we'll have more kids that make All-State than we did last year. I don't know if that's a bold prediction. Last year we had two. We had Alvin and we had Walt. Right? That's all. No, and Javon from Santa Fe. So we had three that made All-State last year. A bold prediction we'll have more than three that make All-State if we have a season this year.
Coach, I don't think we have more than three. I don't think they'll have the production numbers in order to make All-State, as in first, second, or third team, or just the first team?
First, second, or third. because we only had 3 that made first, second, and third last year. Walt made first, Alvin made first, and I think Javon made second. I think I don't know, but that was like the only 3 that made it.
And Javon is gone. I'm trying to think who is the other person that would burst onto the scene as far as making an all-state team. My question mark is Dewberry and KJ. Are they going to be consistent enough to put up those numbers and hold those numbers all year long? I think the person that could make it is Trey. Trey could be that third person, but
you don't see more. It's a stretch for 3, but you definitely don't see more than 3.
I don't see more than 3. Not for All-State, not this year.
That's so your bold prediction, your first one, which is bold but scarily, possibly accurate, more and more each day, that we don't have a season at all. And then the second one is that no one makes it to the White House. And mine is that more kids, and we're going to post these, more kids make All-State this year than last year. This is the thing. We'll play this week, Coach. I think that we'll get to Christmas break, and then things are going to get kind of same with school, like we talked about before we jumped on here. I think that we'll get the Christmas break, and then after the break, virtual is going to become more of a reality than we want to admit or accept.
Coach, how many teams we had make it last year?
To the playoffs, 9.
I still think we may do it. It just may be different teams.
So you got 9. That's your over, under, or the same?
I say we get at least 7. In the playoffs.
You say 7
in the playoffs.
If we have a whole season, I'm gonna take just the same. I'm gonna say 9. I'm not gonna say more than 9, but I'm gonna say 9.
Yeah, because I think some of the teams that may miss it may be replaced by I still think Ridge can get in. I think Hardy can get in. That didn't make it last year, and I think it's gonna be possible for Lakeland Christian to get in and Discovery to get in. So it's gonna be teams to replace those teams that don't make it.
That's good. So you say 7, I'm saying 9.
Yeah.
I do like. I think that's a accurate look at it. Because Discovery is actually in the district this year, and they wasn't last year.
Mm-hmm.
They got to be the favorite in their district. So the last thing, Coach, before we leave, see if I can find it. I want to give you your quick take on the favorite in each district. I'm going to give you all the teams in the district, and you give me your favorite, and you give me your sleeper.
Okay, I got you.
I'll do the same. So 7A District 6, Osceola, Windermere, Ridge, Celebration, Haines City, East Ridge. Who is your preseason pick to win the district, and who is your preseason sleeper?
All right, the sleeper to win it.
Sleeper win. However you want to define sleeper, you define it. Then I go with off your definition.
Okay. All right. The favorite win in the district is Windermere by far. They tough, top to bottom. They long. They can shoot the basketball. They coach well. Coach Grissom do a great job over there with that team. I don't see them losing that district unless something COVID related happens or they have some type of injury or whatever. I do see them playing Ridge for the district. I don't consider Ridge a sleeper, but who I will consider a sleeper that's gonna actually compete in that district this year is Haines City. With Coach Ampbo and what I've seen this preseason, they're already competing against the teams that they played already. He's gonna do a great job over there, and they're gonna be better than they were the previous year.
I agree with you. I think Windermere is got to be the favorite to win that district. I actually look at, even though, they won 18 games, but I still see Ridge as a sleeper. But I see them as a sleeper to possibly steal the district.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's saying a lot, but I see them as a sleeper to steal the district from Windermere. I think Osceola coach leaving helps Ridge out a whole lot.
I
If he
agree.
stayed there, that would impact some stuff. All right, 6A7 district. George Jenkins, Kathleen, Lakeland, Armwood, Plant City, Strawberry Crest. Who you got preseason to win the district? Who you preseason sleeper?
Say it one more time, Coach.
George Jenkins, Kathleen, Lakeland, Armwood, Plant City, Strawberry Crest.
I like Lakeland to win it. I see Kathleen as a sleeper to win that district also.
Okay, so you got Lakeland to win it, and Kathleen as the sleeper. All right, Coach. I want to say Lakeland to win it, and I got a tie for sleeper to win it with Kathleen and also Plant City. Plant City is probably a little better than people think and could easily win that district because there's nobody who's just
No,
head
it's no clear
shoulders
cut
better
favorite.
than anybody else.
No, it's no clear cut favorite.
Yeah, it's
Like I
very,
said,
very easy.
injuries can play into play. Um, like I said, Kathleen got some new pieces. They got to put that together. You know what I'm saying? So I'm curious to see what Lakeland does with these new people, not new people, these younger people stepping into these roles. It's no clear cut favorite. That should be the one of the most competitive districts that we have.
All right, 6A6.
It may be only one team make it out of that district, coach. It may be
And
only
last year 3 made it.
last year 3 made it, but it could possibly be only one team make it out.
That's the district champ. All right, so 6A6. Bartow, Winter Haven, Poinciana, Lake Howell, Edgewater, Liberty.
I mean, you got to give it to the state champs. Going back to back as a clear cut favorite. I don't consider Winter Haven a sleeper, but I think them young guys are going to challenge, Bartow for the district championship.
We both on the same page with that. So although they're not a sleeper, I guess they kind of got to be.
They're not picked to win it. I will say that they're not picked to win it, but they're just not going to hand it over either.
They got some pride. They're going to fight them. 5A7, Sebring, RD, Lake Gibson, Arbondale, Lake Region, Lake Wells.
Coach, that's the toughest one to pick. And right now, until you beat them, I still consider them the team to beat right now, and that's Sebring. I think, Coach Princeton going to have his team playing well at the end of the season. I see them as the favorite to win that district now. The thing is that Arbondale and Hardy is going to have something to say about that. And Coach has done a great job with Lake Gibson. I don't think he lost too much in order to compete for the district championship. I mean, I really want to pick Hardy, and I really want to pick Eric at Arbondale, but it's just so many factors, and it's still early. But right now, I will pick Coach Prince at Sebring to win the district, and I'm going to pick Arbondale as a sleeper to win that district.
Okay. All right. So my pick to win the district is Arbondale. I think Arvindale's gonna get better as the season goes. And they, at the end of the day, they got a kid they can go to down the stretch. Hopefully, in Diego, which has to mean something. They got size. They got the Nats kid who, hopefully he develops, and then the Hewitt kid who also doesn't do a bad job. The other guard. My sleeper is Hardy. I think Hardy is a sleeper to win the district. They're the most experienced team in that district. They got everybody returns, and they added the kid before me. So that's who I got as my sleeper. All right, 4A11, Avon Park, McKeel, DeSoto, Lake Placid, Mulberry, Tenor Rock, and Discovery.
All right, my favorite is Discovery. My sleeper probably would be McKeel, but I don't know what DeSoto has, and usually they have athletes that's going to compete. So I'm curious on what DeSoto have down there. But if I just had to choose today, it'll be Discovery and with McKeel as a sleeper.
And I'm right there with you with both. I think Discovery got to be the favorite in that district. And once again, I don't know I know DeSoto was 13-12 last year, so they actually had the best record in the district, and I think they won the district last year. They ended up beating Tenor Rock in the district final. I think Tenor Rock upset somebody, but Discovery coming in got to be the favorite, I think. And I would say McKeel, based off the fact I haven't seen DeSoto either, so we both the same on that. All right, 389 Santa Fe, Frostproof. Lakeland Christian, Four Corners, and New Dimensions.
Definitely like Santa Fe to win the district. I like Lakeland Christian to compete as a sleeper. I've seen Four Corners last year. I don't know what they're returning. I don't think they'll be able to compete with those. Frostproof will be the other one that make a challenge. I think Frostproof can beat Lakeland Christian on any given night if they had to play to get into the district championship. But right now, I would pick Santa Fe and Lakeland Christian as a sleeper.
Okay. Well, I'm with you with Santa Fe as the district favorite, a district champ. And my sleeper is Frostproof. I guess, like I said, I'm sipping the Frostproof juice. Hopefully, I don't choke on it, but I'm sipping on it right now. So, all right, 2A11. This is kind of a unknown. You probably know more about these people than I do. I know one or two of them, but Victory, City of Life, International Community, All Saints, Faith Christian, and Orlando Christian Prep.
OCP by a million miles to win that district. No doubt OCP is gonna win that district. And you can flip a coin on the sleeper coach. But probably Faith Christian.
I'm thinking Faith Christian is a sleeper.
Yeah.
You thinking I don't know anything about. I don't know what.
I've seen them play. They've been around for a while, and they've actually had some pretty good teams. But I don't see any of those teams definitely competing with.
Victory got in last year, and they get in this year.
Not with them outside players. I don't think so.
All right, the last one, coach. Last district, 1A District 9, Wildwood, Pahokee, Fort Meade, Vanguard, and Crescent City.
Like Wildwood to win it. And I don't know about a sleeper in that one, coach.
I like Wildwood too, and the sleeper I like is with Coach Randy Lee at Vanguard. I like Vanguard as a sleeper.
I would like to see them first before I make that prediction. I know Coach gonna do a great job over there, and I think they won one or two preseason games already. So
I saw what they won. When I saw he posted, they won by a pretty good margin on one of those games. So
yeah, so we can go with Vanguard as a sleeper.
Okay, and we'll post that tomorrow. Once we get Tuma's input, we'll post all this stuff, and then we'll see how we do. We'll post it once we put it on the paper. We know we kind of stuck with it, so then we'll revisit to see how we is.
I do want to say this, Coach. My girls play tomorrow against Clearwater at home. We at 6:30 and 8. For everybody to come out and support the Lady Blue Devils, we'll appreciate it.
Came out to get LBD exactly. We got to make sure we post we're gonna do a better job of posting the girl games too. I know I get it all the time. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing for the girls. You ain't gonna do this for the. It's three of us. Trying to do the best we can. So, Winter Haven girls are also in action tomorrow. And I know it's more girls than that, but we'll post it on the page. We'll post the boys' schedule. We do it daily. But this is coming to the end of the preseason show. All the stuff we talked about today for us, the list and all the things we'll post on the page. I'm sure we'll get even more conversation, more feedback. Appreciate y'all rocking with us. Appreciate, the first show is always different. You change up things a little bit, new day, new time, and we're very excited about the start of the season. We hope that Coach Billy D is not correct on his bold prediction, but he could very easily be correct because the way things are, it could easily happen. We just, for the sake of the kids, and like you say, 2021, they got stuck last year and potentially gonna get stuck this year. So they're gonna bend their way through it for 2 years. So you just hope and pray for their sake that it is a season, but you gotta be safe first. So we understand it as well. It's just a crazy time we living in, and we just gotta try to manage it. Y'all make sure you stay safe. I know school, everybody, Polk County, I don't know about Highland and Hardee, but I know Polk County go back to school tomorrow. Thanksgiving break is over with. Make sure you all finish strong. You got 3 more weeks before the end of the semester. Make sure everybody doing the job in the classroom. We don't want to lose nobody, because you're not doing what you're supposed to do in the people's classes. So, Coach, you got anything else for the good of the cause?
No, sir. Tuma, we missed you today, bro.
Yeah, man, we got to see what's going on with the co-host, but we understand. We'll jump it in and hopefully everybody have a good week. Everybody be safe, and we will be out to a few games this week. We'll always post on the page where we're gonna be at. And any of y'all team that we not at your game, if you want us to do like a summary recap, you send us the stuff. You send us a screenshot of your scorebook or anything you want us to post, and we will post it. Obviously, we can't be everywhere. But if you post it, if you send it to us, we'll post it. We don't discriminate. We're gonna spotlight as many teams and kids as possible. So that hasn't changed, and it ain't gonna change. So if everybody good, thank y'all for rocking with us, man. We'll be back this time next Sunday. Coach, good luck tomorrow night, and good luck, all the teams that's starting up, the boys team that's starting up this week. Good luck on your season. And we'll be in the gym, we'll be in the stands, and until next time, Polk Hoops out. Everybody be safe. Have a good week. Appreciate you, Coach. All right.